Patient. Doctor, I have a pain in my eye whenever I drink tea. Doctor. Take the spoon out of the mug before you drink. This is cute. So this is insinuating that the patient is poking themselves in the eye with the spoon. That's pretty cute. An old man lived alone in Idaho. He wanted to spade his potato garden, but it was very hard work. His only son, Bubba, who used to help him, was in prison. The old man wrote a letter to his son and described his predicament. Dear son, I'm feeling pretty bad because it looks like I won't be able to plant my potato garden this year. I'm just getting too old to be digging up a garden. If you were here, all my troubles would be over. I know you would dig the garden for me. Love, Dad. A few days later, he received a letter from his son. Dear Dad, for heaven's sakes, don't dig up that garden. That's where I buried the bodies. Love, Bubba. At 4 a.m. the next morning, FBI agents and local police showed up and dug up the entire area without finding any bodies. They apologized to the old man and left. That same day, the old man received another letter from his son. Dear Dad, go ahead and plant the potatoes now. It's the best I could do under the circumstances. Love, Bubba. Oh, that's cute. So this is insinuating that the FBI was monitoring their communication, and so they wanted to go and see if there were bodies in the garden. And Bubba's saying that's the best he could do because he couldn't be there to dig up the garden himself, so he tricked the FBI into doing it for him. That's funny. Number 20. A policeman said to a thief he had caught breaking into a shop, So you say that you've broken into the shop so that you could have just a packet of cigarettes? Yes, that's true, the thief answered. And why did you try to rob the cash register? The policeman asked him. Because I wanted to leave money for the cigarettes. Oh, that's cute. I like that. That's funny. A teenage girl had been talking on the phone for about half an hour, and then she hung up. Wow, said her father. That was short. You usually talk for 2 hours. What happened? Wrong number, replied the girl. Looks like she was still talking. Sounds like me, I talk a lot. 22. Little Johnny was running around his house and was shouting happily, Mom, Mom, I can write. What have you written, my darling? How do I know that? I can't read. 23. A passenger ship was passing a little deserted island in the Pacific Ocean. Passengers saw a man on the island. He had long hair and a long beard, and he was shouting and waving his hands with all his might. One of the passengers asked the captain, Who is that man on the island? I don't know, but every year when we pass this island, he goes crazy. So he's obviously someone that's stranded on the island. He can't leave, so he needs help. But the captain doesn't get it, so he passes by him every year. A blonde was out of money and needed it desperately. To get some cash, she decided to kidnap a kid and hold him for ransom, just like in Hollywood movies. She went to a playground, grabbed a kid randomly, and told the kid, I've kidnapped you. She then wrote a big note saying, I've kidnapped your kid. Tomorrow morning, put $10,000 in a bag and leave it under the mango tree next to the playground. Signed, a naughty blonde. The blonde then pinned the note to the kid's shirt. and sent him home to show it to his parents. The next morning, the blonde checked, and sure enough, a paper bag was sitting beneath the mango tree. The blonde looked in the bag and found the $10,000 with a note that said, "How could you do this to a fellow blonde?" Oh my gosh, this is good. So, blondes are notoriously known as being stupid or unintelligent. I don't know why. It's cruel and awful. But this blonde kidnaps this child, but instead of holding him for ransom, she sends him back to his house. So she really has nothing to bargain with. But because the blonde's parent was also a blonde, they didn't realize that they didn't have to give any money to get their child back, even though their child is at home with them. And he sent the money. Oh my gosh. Number 26, patient. Doctor, I think that I've been bitten by a vampire. Doctor, drink this glass of water. Patient, will it make me feel better? Doctor, no, but I'll be no, but I'll be able to see if your neck leaks. So vampires are known in history for biting your neck, right? And in theory, once they bite your neck, there should be blood dripping down your neck because they suck your blood. That's what people say. But I guess, who knows, maybe this doctor's a blonde too. Maybe that's part of the joke. 27. Two boys were arguing when the teacher entered the room. The teacher asked, "Why are you arguing?" One boy answered, "We found a $10 bill and decided to give it to whoever tells the biggest lie." Okay, I need to think about that. That's cute. And I laughed automatically, so it's funny. But I can't really tell you why it's funny. She enters the room. Why are you arguing? We found a $10 bill and decided to give it to whoever tells the biggest lie. So I guess technically, if you told a lie that you were the best liar and everybody believed you, then you should get the $10. But if I also told a lie and said that I was the biggest liar, then I should also get the $10. So I'm not sure if they're fighting over they must be fighting over who should get it. But the fight would go over and over and over because you couldn't prove who lies better. There's more to the joke. Sorry. So you should be ashamed of yourselves, said the teacher. Oh, I should pause for a minute. Let's see here. You know what? I'm going to reread it, just in case. Two boys were arguing when the teacher entered the room. The teacher asked, "Why are you arguing?" One boy answered, "We found a $10 bill and decided to give it to whoever tells the biggest lie." "You should be ashamed of yourselves," said the teacher. "When I was your age, I didn't even know what a lie was." The boys gave the $10 bill to the teacher. Okay, so they gave the $10 bill to the teacher because they think that she is telling the biggest lie. So she should earn the money. She should win the money because she's saying she didn't even know what a lie was. 28. A man goes to the doctor and says, "Doctor, wherever I touch, it hurts." The doctor asks, "What do you mean?" The man says, "When I touch my shoulder, it really hurts. If I touch my knee, ouch. When I touch my forehead, it really hurts." The doctor says, "I know what's wrong with you. You've broken your finger." That's cute. So basically everything that he touches hurts because he's touching it with his broken finger. On a bench in a park, There were a man and a woman who were kissing passionately. Entranced, they did not even notice that a man had approached them and carefully placed his hand on the woman's shoulder. "How dare you?" the man shouted angrily. "I'm sorry, I just want to ask my wife to give me the key to our apartment." Oh geez, so the wife is having an affair with another man, and it's her husband that has just walked up and asked for the key to their apartment. Wow, sounds like he's a doormat, like he just accepts that. 30. A fortune teller told a woman, "My cards say that your husband will die soon." "I know that," the woman said, "but I would like to know if the police are going to investigate his death." Sorry, this should say "are." She added. Oh, so this is saying that the woman knows that her husband is going to die soon because she is planning on killing him. But she's asking the fortune teller if the police are going to investigate his death because she wants to know if they're going to figure out that it was her that killed him. 31. Just look at that young person with the short hair and blue jeans. Is it a boy or a girl? It's a girl. She's my daughter. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't know that you were her father. I'm not. I'm her mother. So this is basically saying that the woman, the mother, is so ugly that the stranger thinks that she's a man and she has ugly children. Oh, that's horrible. That's mean. 32. How did your fight with your wife end yesterday? She crawled towards me on her knees. I can't believe it. What did she say? She told me, get out from under the bed or I'll come under there and get you. So this is tricky. It's written to make you think that the woman is, getting on her knees to beg for forgiveness or something to her husband, which would be shocking, right? Most women would not do that. And then you find out that he was hiding under the bed. 33. One day, little Johnny answered the phone. Hello. Hi, my son. Hello, Dad. What are you doing, my son? Nothing much. That man is here who always comes by when you leave for work. My son, do you know where I keep my gun? Yes, I do. Okay, take that gun and shoot that man and your mom. But Dad, it's our mom. There was silence on the other end of the line. Dad, I shot them. Okay, now throw Mom in the swimming pool and bury the man in the garden. But Dad, we have neither a pool nor a garden. Is this 555-1200? No. Sorry, wrong number. Toot-toot. Okay, I don't get that one. I get that. Okay, I'm going to go back just in case anybody missed it. So this is the father calling home, and the son tells him that the mother is there with the man that is always there when the dad isn't home. So that means that the mother is having an affair with another man. And so I get why the man wants to have his kid shoot him with a gun. But, maybe, no, I don't know what it is. I was going to say that maybe it's actually the dad and the mom are home. And it's the man the woman is having an affair with that wants Yeah, that must be it. This is a bit confusing. The mom and the dad are home. No, I don't get it, because it says the man is here who always come by when you leave for work. It's tricky because he says that throw mom in the swimming pool and bury the man in the garden, when the child says that they don't have a pool or a garden. This is insinuating that the person that's on the phone has never been to the house, so maybe it's not the real dad. Oh, I don't know what to think of this. Maybe some of you out there will understand it better than me. You can let us know in the comments what you think. The head of a hospital has ordered all the hospital staff to hide the real diagnoses from the patients. A nurse comes into the room quite worried. What's the problem? Am I seriously ill? A patient asks the nurse. No, you aren't. I'm not worried because of you, but I have no idea how we're going to take the coffin out of this room. I don't get it. Do you guys get it? Let us know in the comments. Maybe I'm missing something. Number 35. The teacher called on Johnny during a class. Johnny, stand up and tell us 2 pronouns. Who, me? The teacher said. Very good, Johnny. Finally, one correct answer from you. So Johnny didn't actually know what a pronoun was, but when he stood up, he said 2. That's very cute. I wonder, let us know in the comments if you understood that one. That's tricky. And good to know if you're learning a second language like English. A man came to visit his very good friend who was in the hospital. He asked a nurse, "Does my friend stand a chance?" "No chance at all. He's not my type," the nurse answered. That's funny. So, does my friend stand a chance? He's talking about if they're going to get better. The person who's in the hospital is sick, and he's wondering if they stand a chance at getting better. But the nurse thinks, or the nurse answers, no, he's not my type, meaning she's not interested in dating him. We say that a lot in English when we're talking about dating people. Like, say you see someone on the street and you're with your friend. Like, say I'm walking down the street and with my girlfriend and my friend that is a girl. And I see a cute guy and I'm like, ooh, he's cute. I want to date him. Do you think he'd go out with me? And she might say, nope, you don't stand a chance. Meaning there's no chance that he would even consider dating me. So that's where this comes in. We use that a lot when we're talking about dating. 37. Once there were 3 turtles. One day, they decided to go on a picnic. When they got there, they realized they had forgotten the soda. The youngest turtle said it would go home and get it if they didn't eat the sandwiches until it got back. A week went by, then a month, finally a year, when the 2 turtles said, "Oh, come on, let's eat the sandwiches." Suddenly, the little turtle popped up from behind a rock and said, "If you do it, I won't go." So he never left. The turtle never left, but they think that he did because they waited for a week and then a month and a year. And that's cute. It's funny because turtles walk slowly. Turtles are known for being really slow. I like that. That might be a good one for children, like maybe around 11 or 12 years old, to see how they're doing with their English, if they get it. 38. You don't have any parents, young man? No, I don't. They had an accident some time ago. How horrible. What happened? They were run over by a tractor. And do you have a brother or a sister? No, I don't anymore. They were run over by a tractor too. Oh, poor you. That's really terrible. And what are you doing all alone in this world? Well, what could I do? I'm still driving the tractor. So he ran over his family with the tractor, and that is why he's all alone. That's cute. I like that. I'm reading all of these jokes for the first time, by the way. I wanted to be surprised to see how I feel about them. I think they're cute. A lot of them are appropriate for children. These would be really good for telling your children when they're at a more advanced English level to see their understanding, their English comprehension. Great for adults too, though. Very good. Simple. 39. After an exam, the parents asked Johnny, "Were the professors strict?" "No, but they reminded me of priests." He answered, "No, but they reminded me of priests," he answered. "How's that possible?" his parents asked. "They kept saying, 'Oh my God,' all the time." So that's because he was probably misbehaving, and so they were constantly saying, "Oh my God, Johnny." That's what I think anyway. Let us know in the comments what you think. 40. This is a dialogue between Brian and Alf. Brian had a fight with his school friend and was beaten up again. All right, after this lesson, you'll never get beaten at school again. I'm not going to school anymore. Don't say that. School's very important. If you drop out, you won't get anywhere in life. You'll just hang around the house all day eating and watching TV. I want to be like you. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. What do you know about fighting? Are you kidding? They used to call me Sugar Ray. I could have been a contender if it hadn't been for my glass nose. Really? He touches Alf's nose. First, you must learn to focus all your energy on one thing. What are you focusing on? On a candy bar, Brian. If I'm going to teach you how to fight, I'll need the energy of 1,000 calories. Yeah, all right, here. All right. Now the trick here is to concentrate all your energy and let it explode in a blinding flash of distraction. Now the trick here is to concentrate all your energy and let it explode in a blinding flash of distraction. Now the trick here is to concentrate all your energy and let it explode in a blinding flash of distraction. Watch. Hee-yah! He breaks the board. Oh, right. Okay. Hee-yah! I thought it was only pain when you didn't break the board. Unbelievable pain. I don't get it. We say that in English, by the way. When we don't understand something, we say, I don't get it. I don't get it. Do you guys get it? Let us know in the comments. I'm curious. I must be missing something. Doctor, a patient asks, when should I come and see you again? Come on Wednesday if you're still alive. Okay, sorry, I just said your because that's how we speak in English, the most efficient way possible. So we use contractions a lot. And what's funny about this is because the doctor is supposed to help people. They're supposed to help their patients. And he's saying, come back on Wednesday if you're still alive. So he or she obviously didn't do what they needed to help the patient. The female dormitory will be out of bounds for all male students. Anybody caught breaking this rule will be fined $20 the first time. Anybody caught breaking this rule the second time will be fined $60. Anybody caught breaking this rule the third time will have to pay a fine of $180. Are there any questions? At this, a male student in the crowd inquires, "How much for a season pass?" So he obviously thinks that it's worth breaking the rules because he wants to see the women. And so he doesn't see the fine as something that is going to stop him. In fact, he sees it almost as paying a fee to enter, like a ticket price. So when he says how much for a season pass, he's insinuating that he would like to come in as often he would like, as often as he would like. He would like a season pass. Season passes are common, let's see, in Canada for snowboarding and skiing. We'll have a mountain where people go to ski. They'll sell day passes to go and use the hills. So, that means you can go and use the facilities. So there are restaurants and lockers and lifts to get you up the mountain to ski or snowboard down. And so often they'll sell a season pass so that you can go all season long, and it's cheaper. So this guy is thinking, well, if he's going to pay a fine of $180, maybe he should just get a season pass and it'll be cheaper. A woman was reading a newspaper when suddenly she shouted, "Oh my dear, the man who introduced us has been murdered." "So what? I have an alibi," her husband said calmly. Oh, wait a minute. Let me think about this. "Oh my dear, the man who introduced us has been murdered. So what? I have an alibi." Oh goodness, I'm tired. I need to think about this for a minute. I don't get it. I feel like it has something to do with an affair. Maybe I'm too tired. Does anyone else understand it? Please let us know in the comments. I'm confused. Tell us what you think about joke number 43. What am I missing here? For the final test, the CIA agents took one of the men to a large metal door and handed him a gun. "We must know that you will follow your instructions no matter what the circumstances. Inside the room, you will find your wife sitting in a chair. Kill her." The man said, "You can't be serious. I could never shoot my wife." The agent said, "Then you're not the right man for this job. Take your wife and go home." The second man was given the same instructions. He took the gun and went into the room. Everything was quiet for about 5 minutes. The man came out, with tears in his eyes. "I tried, but I can't kill my wife." The agent said, "You don't have what it takes. Take your wife and go home." Finally, it was the woman's turn. She was given the same instructions to kill her husband. She took the gun and went into the room. Shots were heard, one after another. They heard screaming, crashing, banging on the walls. After a few minutes, everything was quiet. The door opened slowly, and the woman appeared. She said, "The gun was loaded with blanks. I had to beat him to death with the chair." So it was actually a test. It was a test to see if anybody could shoot, the men. It was first a test to see if they had the guts to shoot their wife. And if they did have the guts, the gun wouldn't have worked. It was loaded with blanks. But the woman took the challenge seriously. And because the gun was loaded with blanks, or maybe she was, not so intelligent, because it was loaded with blanks and she was told to kill her husband, she beat him to death with a chair That's funny. 45. A husband and wife were having dinner at a very fine restaurant when this stunning young woman came over to their table, gave the husband a big kiss, told him she would see him later, and walked away. His wife looked at him angrily and said, "Who was that?" "That was my mistress," the husband replied. The wife said, "I want a divorce. If we divorce, there will be no more shopping trips to Paris, no more winter holidays in the Caribbean, no Lexus in the garage, but the decision is yours." And then the wife noticed a mutual friend entering the restaurant with a gorgeous woman. "Who's that woman with Jim?" she asked. "That's his mistress," replied her husband. "Ours is prettier," said the wife. So she's saying that because he has threatened to take away the trips to the Caribbean and the shopping trips to Paris and all the things that she gets for being with her husband, that she would just the same be happy to keep the mistress in their life so that she can keep having those things. 46. Two friends were talking. Women used to run after me. Why aren't they still doing it? I'm not stealing their handbags anymore. That's funny. So this is kind of like a play on dating, because we say that about men and women. Like I could say about myself, when I was young, oh my gosh, like men used to chase after me, meaning they all wanted to date me. We'd say chase after me or run after me. I might say to you, "Oh, Tom, you're so good looking. The women are always running after you." And that means that women always want to date you. They always want to be with you. But in this case, it's because he used to rob women and steal their handbags, and that's why they would run after him. Sarah was reading a newspaper. Suddenly she burst out laughing. "Listen to this," she said to her husband. "There's an ad here where a guy is offering to swap his wife for a season ticket to the stadium." Teasing him, Sarah said, "Would you swap me for a season ticket?" "No way," he said. "How sweet, tell me, why not?" Season's more than half over. So he's saying that it's not worth it because he would want to swap her for a whole season, not just part of it. He'd want to get rid of her for more than half the season. Okay, guys, I just need to take a quick break here. The head of a hospital asked the head of a ward, "Anything new today?" Nothing much, except that the man we thought was pretending to be sick has died. Oh, that's awful. Goodness. 49. A blonde woman suddenly came back home and found her husband in bed with another woman. Without saying a word, she took a gun and pointed it at her head. "But darling, what are you going to do, for God's sake?" the frightened husband asked. "Don't worry. You are the next," the woman answered. Oh my goodness. So this is a bit tricky, it might be for some. Because she's blonde, blondes are known for being stupid, right? They aren't, just to be clear, but I don't know, someone must have started this joke, and so there are always blonde jokes. And she's saying that she's going to shoot herself, and then she's going to shoot her husband next. But that can't happen, because once she dies, she won't be able to shoot her husband. It's cute. 50. A guy goes to a bar that's on the 10th floor of a hotel. He sits down and has a couple of drinks, then stands up, announces loudly that he has had enough, and goes over and jumps out of the window. There are two men who are sitting at a window table and watching as the man plummets to certain death. However, just as he is about to hit the ground, he rights himself and lands gracefully. He then turns and comes back into the building. The two men are amazed. The guy comes back into the bar, orders a few drinks, then repeats the process. Before he jumps the third time, the men stop him and ask him, how on earth does he do that is what I was going to say. How on earth he does that? He replies, it's simple, really. There's an air vent down by the ground, and you can land on the ground with no problems. Then he proceeds to jump out the window again. Well, these two men decide that they just have to try this. So they jump out of the window and splat, make a mess, hitting all over the ground. Meanwhile, the first guy has made it back up to the bar. When he sits down to order his drinks, the bartender says, Superman, you can be a real jerk when you're drunk. Oh, well, that's funny. So, Superman can fly, right? So he can jump out of any window and he's not going to splat on the ground. But he's drunk because he keeps drinking at this bar and he lies to these guys. So they copy him and they die. That's pretty cute. I like that. 51. Two men went bear hunting. While one stayed in the cabin, the other went out looking for a bear. He soon found a huge bear, shot at it, but only wounded it. The enraged bear ran towards him. He dropped his rifle and started running for the cabin as fast as he could. He ran pretty fast, but the bear was just a bit faster and was getting closer and closer. Just as the man reached the open cabin door, he tripped and fell flat. Too close behind to stop, the bear tripped over him and went rolling into the cabin. The man jumped up, he jumped up, closed the cabin door, and yelled to his friend inside, You skin this one while I go and get another. Oh my goodness, that's sneaky. So they're tricking the bear to get into their cabin so that they can skin it, which is sad. Oh goodness. I'm curious, is hunting popular where you live? Is it permitted? 52. Dear Mom and Dad, I feel miserable because I have to keep asking for money. I feel ashamed and unhappy. I have to ask for another 100, and I beg you to forgive me. Your son, Marvin. P.S. I felt so terrible, I ran after the mailman who picked this up, in the box at the corner. I wanted to take this letter and burn it. I prayed that I could get it back, but it was too late. A few days later, he received a letter from his father. It said, Your prayers were answered. Your letter never arrived. That's cute. So he's saying that because the kid or the son or daughter is making up a story about why they felt so bad that, why this person felt so bad for asking their parents for money. So they're saying, oh, if I could take it back, I would. So the dad's not going to lend money. He says, your letter never arrived, even though it did. 53. Why do blondes always smile during lightning storms? They think their picture is being taken. Oh my gosh, that's awful. I'm sorry to all of you blondes out there. These are pretty hilarious, but of course, blondes are just as intelligent as brunettes and black-haired people. 54. An old man bought hearing aids from a doctor. When he went to the next checkup, the doctor said, Your hearing is perfect. Your family must be really pleased. The old man said, "Oh, I haven't told my family yet. I just sit around them and listen to their conversations. In a month, I've changed my will 3 times. Oh, that's great. That's hilarious. So this is because the family thinks that he can't hear them. So they're just talking about things in front of him that are probably, I guess, making him view them negatively. So maybe they're saying things about him that aren't nice, or saying things that aren't nice about other family members. So he's just decided to change his will because people in his family keep disappointing him with their behavior. I like that. 55. A surgeon was talking to a scared patient in front of the operating room. "Don't worry, this is the 50th time I've done this kind of operation. So I shouldn't be afraid," the patient said. "Of course not. Eventually one of these has to be successful." Oh, I like that. So basically she has never, I don't think it says she. The surgeon, it's just a surgeon. So we don't know if it's a man or a woman. But they've done this surgery multiple times, 50th. And so the patient feels like they should feel more comfortable because the surgeon has a lot of experience. But the surgeon hasn't had a successful surgery of this nature yet. So it's not so great. It doesn't reassure the patient. 56. A blonde walks into the police department looking for a job. The officer asks her a few questions. "What's 2 plus 2? 4. What's the square root of 100? 10. Good. Now who killed Abraham Lincoln? I don't know. Well, you can go home and think about it. Come back tomorrow." The blonde goes home and calls up one of her friends who asks her if she got the job. The blonde says excitedly, "Not only did I get the job, I'm already working on a murder case." That's hilarious. So everybody knows who killed Abraham Lincoln. It's, it's history from the States all over the world. But this girl doesn't because, she's blonde. So the joke is insinuating that she's stupid. And so she left thinking that she got the job and she's looking into this murder case when really he was just trying to get her to give him the answer to a known fact, a well-known fact. A blonde had just crashed her car in a horrible accident. Miraculously, she was not hurt, and she was applying lipstick when the police arrived. "My God," the policeman said, "your car is totally destroyed. Are you okay?" "Yes, officer, I'm just fine," the blonde said. "Well, how in the world did this happen?" the officer asked. "Officer, it was the strangest thing," the blonde began. "I was driving along this road when from out of nowhere this tree popped up in front of me. So I swerved to the right, and there was another tree. I swerved to the left, and there was another tree. I swerved to the right, and there was, ma'am," the officer interrupted her. "There isn't a tree on this road for 30 miles. That was your air freshener swinging back and forth." Oh my gosh. So, those air fresheners, I can't remember the name of the brand. They're very popular in Canada and the US. They're shaped like little trees, and you hang them from your rearview mirror in your car, and they come in all sorts of different scents. So this woman was trying to avoid the tree, I guess, which is silly because it's in her car. Another funny blonde joke. It's all right. It's all right. Not the best. 58. A blonde woman complained to her mother, "Can you imagine, Mum? My husband is cheating on me with my friend." "How horrible," the mother said. "I'll divorce him tomorrow," the blonde woman said. "And what will you do then?" Oh, sorry. "And what will you do then? Will you come back to live with me?" the mother asked. "No, I won't," the blonde woman answered. "I'm moving to my lover's." Oh, that's okay. That's an okay joke. So the blonde is complaining to her mother that her husband is cheating on her with her friend. But the blonde woman is also cheating on her husband with someone because she has a lover. Nah, it's okay. I've heard better. 59. Bill was weeping at a grave. "Why did you die? Why did you die? Your death ruined my life." Joey. "Who are you mourning for? A child? A parent? Your wife?" "My wife's first husband." Oh, that's pretty funny. It's cute. Not like super hilarious, but I like that. So Bill met his wife because her first husband passed away. So Bill is the second husband, and now he's miserable. So he's mourning the death of the first husband, because if the first husband was still alive, he never would have been with or met his wife, who obviously drives him crazy. 60. The man. God, how long? Oh, sorry, God, as in the real God. God, how long is 1,000,000 years? To me, it's about a minute. God, how much is $1,000,000? To me, it's a cent. God, may I have a cent? Wait a minute. Oh, he's saying wait 1,000,000 years, basically, because to God, a minute is 1,000,000 years. Sneaky. 61. A young couple had been arguing about what new vehicle they would buy. He wanted a Jeep, but she wanted a sports car. After about an hour, the woman had to leave and said, "Look, all I want is something that goes from 0 to 100, in less than 4 seconds. My birthday is coming up next week. Buy something that will surprise me." A week later, she opened her present. A new set of bathroom scales. Oh, that's mean, but it's funny. Basically, it's saying that because she's heavy, actually, you know what? 100 pounds isn't heavy. I guess it depends on your size, how tall you are. But that's cheeky, because a scale that weighs, tests how much you weigh, goes from 0 to 100 in seconds. That's cute. 62. Bill, Jim, and Scott were sharing a large suite on the 75th floor of a hotel. One day they were coming back to the room together. They were told that the elevators in their hotel were out of order, and they would have to climb 75 flights of stairs. Bill said to Jim and Scott, "Let's break the monotony of this unpleasant task by concentrating on something interesting. I'll tell jokes for 25 flights, and Jim can sing songs for 25 flights. And Scott can tell sad stories the rest of the way." At the 26th floor, Bill stopped telling jokes, and Jim began to sing. At the 51st floor, Jim stopped singing, and Scott began to tell sad stories. "I will tell my saddest story first," he said. I left the room key in the car. That's cute. So, They had to walk up 75 flights of stairs just to get to the room. And now they're at, 51? And Scott has to tell them that he left the key in the car. So he has to go all the way back down, or they have to go all the way back down, grab the key, and start walking up the flights of stairs again. I like that. Makes me think of Vegas. So many fancy hotels there with floors so high. And yeah, I mean, the elevators, they don't all break at once, but could you imagine walking up 75 steps, or 75 floors of steps? It would be amazing. 23. A small town prosecuting attorney called his first witness to the stand in a trial. A grandmotherly elderly woman. He approached her and asked, "Mrs. Jones, do you know me?" She responded, "Why, yes, I do know you, Mr. Williams. I've known you since you were a boy. And frankly, you've been a big disappointment to me. You lie, you cheat on your wife, you manipulate people and talk about them behind their backs. Yes, I know you." The lawyer was stunned. Not knowing what else to do, he pointed across the room and asked, "Mrs. Williams, do you know the defense attorney?" She again replied, "Why, yes, I do. Oops. I've known Mr. Bradley since he was a youngster, too. I used to babysit him for his parents, and he, too, has been a real disappointment to me. He's lazy, he has a drinking problem. The man can't build a normal relationship with anyone. Yes, I know him." At this point, the judge called both counselors. Leave that to him. He said in a very quiet voice, "If either of you asks her if she knows me, you'll be in jail within 5 minutes." Oh, that's funny. So basically, this woman knows everybody in town and all their dirty little secrets. So the judge doesn't want her to be asked if he knows him, because then she'll tell all of his dirty little secrets to the court. I like that. That's a good one. You guys should use this to practice English with other new learners, because it's a good test to see if you're comprehending. That is good. 64. A man was running down the hall of the hospital just before his operation. "What's the matter?" he was asked. He said, "I heard the nurse say it's a very simple operation. Don't worry, I'm sure it will be all right." "She was just trying to comfort you. What's so frightening about that?" "She wasn't talking to me. She was talking to the surgeon." That's good too. So basically, that means that the surgeon who is about to operate on this person doesn't have a clue what they're doing, and the nurse has to reassure them. So they don't want the surgeon cutting into their body, which is understandable. 65. Johnny was shouting to his mother, "Mom, Mom, Grandpa can hear again." "How do you know that?" "A moment ago, when thunder struck, he shouted, 'Come in.'" 66. The teacher was asking grammar questions. "When I say that I was pretty, it's past. And when I say that I am pretty, that is what, Johnny?" Johnny answered, "It's a joke, teacher." Oh, that's mean. So it's really present. It's the present tense, but Johnny doesn't believe that his teacher is pretty, which is why he says it's a joke. That's a good joke. You know, this would be a good joke to show children, maybe around 10 or 12 years old, that are learning English, because it has a younger character, and it's quite simple, but it's sneaky. That's a good one. 67. After God created Adam, and Adam had been in the garden for a really long time, he started to get a little lonely. So Adam went to God and said, "This garden is amazing, but I'm starting to get a little lonely. Is there anyone that you can send to keep me company?" God answered, "I have the perfect person. She will help you with almost everything. She'll clean, cook, wash your clothes, be your friend, and even wash your feet after a long day. She really is perfect in every way." Adam said, "That sounds great. How soon can you send her?" God replied again, I can send her right away, but there is one thing. It's going to cost you an arm to get her. But there is one thing. Okay, I need to think about this. God replied, pause. God replied again, I can send her right away, but there is one thing. It's going to cost you an arm to get her. Adam thought for a moment and then said, What can I get for a rib? 68. Johnny came into a room and saw his grandma watching a porno film. He was completely surprised, and he asked her, For heaven's sake, Grandma, you've always set an example to others. What are you watching? And his grandma answered, Oh my, darling, I've been watching this for 2 hours, waiting to see if they're going to get married in the end. That's cute. 69. A lion tamer was talking to a female acrobat he liked. In the middle of the conversation, his wife came with a huge stick. The lion tamer ran into the cage with the lions in order to save himself. His wife shouted at him furiously, Come out here, you coward. That's it. What am I missing? I don't get it. It doesn't seem like he's a coward. It seems like he's stupid. Or maybe she's stupid. Because he just ran into a cage full of lions who will probably eat him. And she wants him to come out. I don't get it. 70. 4 friends spend weeks planning a perfect camping holiday. 2 days before the group is to leave, Rob's wife tells him he isn't going. Rob's friends are very upset that he can't go. Okay, I'm going to pause for noise. 2 days before the group is to leave, Rob's wife tells him he isn't going. Rob's friends are very upset that he can't go. 2 days later, the 3 of them get to the camping site and find Rob sitting there and cooking supper on the fire. How long have you been here, and how did you talk your wife into letting you go? Well, I've been here since yesterday. Yesterday evening I was sitting in my chair, and my wife came up behind me and put her hands over my eyes and said, Guess who? I pulled her hands off, and she was wearing a brand new see-through nightie. She took my hand and took me to our bedroom. The room had 24 candles and rose petals all over. She had handcuffs and ropes on the bed. She told me to tie her to the bed, and I did. And then she said, Now you can do whatever you want. So here I am. So we left her there. He left her tied to the bed. That's hilarious. I like that. 71. A very shy guy goes into a pub and sees a beautiful young woman sitting alone at the bar. After an hour of gathering up his courage, he finally goes over to her and asks her shyly, would you mind if I bought you a drink? She responds by yelling, "No, I won't sleep with you tonight." Everyone in the pub looked at them. Naturally, the guy was completely embarrassed, and he goes back to his table, totally red-faced. After a few minutes, the woman walks over to him and apologizes. She smiles at him and says, "I'm really sorry if I embarrassed you just then. You see, I'm a student of psychology, and I'm studying how people respond to embarrassing situations." At this, the guy responds at the top of his lungs, "What do you mean, $300? That's funny. So he's pissed, he's choked, he's mad because this woman used him as an experiment, I guess, for her psychology project. So to get her back, he yells, "What do you mean 300?" insinuating to the rest of the bar that she is charging $300 to have sex with him. 72. A man receives a phone call from his doctor. The doctor says, "I have some good news and some bad news." The man says, "Okay, give me the good news first." The doctor says, "The good news is you have 24 hours to live." The man replies, "Oh no, if that's the good news, then what's the bad news?" The doctor says, "The bad news is I forgot to call you yesterday." So the doctor should have called sooner, and now this guy has less than 24 hours to live. 73. My wife and I went into town and went into a shop. We were in the shop for about 5 minutes. When we came out, there was a cop writing out a parking ticket. We went up to him and said, "Come on, man. How about giving a citizen a break?" He ignored us and continued writing the ticket. I called him a Nazi turd. He looked at me angrily and started writing another ticket for having worn tires, so my wife called him a jerk. He finished the second ticket and put it on the windshield with the first. Then he started writing a third ticket. This went on for about 20 minutes. The more we abused him, the more tickets he wrote. Personally, we didn't care. We came into town by bus. Oh geez, it's not even their car, it's somebody else's car. So he's putting tickets on someone else's car. Oh, that's mean. 74. Two cows are standing in a field. One says to the other, "Are you worried about mad cow disease?" The other one says, "No, it doesn't worry me. I'm a horse." John is visiting his Italian neighbor in the hospital who just had a very serious traffic accident. He doesn't look like very much, in plaster, completely wrapped in a bandage and with infusions. He looks like a mummy. John tries to have a conversation, but his neighbor has his eyes closed and isn't responding. Suddenly, his eyes jump wide open, and during his last gasp for air, he says, John memorizes these words. Wait, what does he say? Nothing? He says nothing? At the funeral, John tells the widow that her husband had something to say, and she asks with tears in her eyes, "Was it that he loved me?" "I don't know," said the man, "but it sounded like, mi stai bloccando il tubicino, d'ossigeno peso di merda." The woman screams and faints. "What?" John asks the daughter. "What did he say? What does that mean?" And the crying daughter says, "You are standing on my oxygen hose, you idiot." So he killed the man because he was standing on the oxygen hose. He couldn't breathe. Why are you late? There was a man who lost a $100 bill. Were you helping him look for it? No, I was standing on it. So the student wanted the $100 bill. So they stood on it so that the man couldn't find it. Then when he gives up and he walks away, the student steals it. A blonde woman called the airport to check how long the flight was from Belgrade to Milan. The operator said, "Just a second." The blonde woman answered, "Thank you," and hung up. She thinks that the flight is just a second, like 1 second from Belgrade to Milan. But the person is saying just a second, as in just a minute, please. Like when you say just a moment, it's because they're going to look. That's cute.